Yesterday we began a study of John chapter 5 and these four witnesses that testified of Jesus and confirmed his claim as the Christ, the Son of God. Yesterday we looked at the first of these witnesses, that being John the Baptist, and how John lived his life as a constant testimony to who Jesus was, even to the point of encouraging his own disciples to become disciples of Jesus, because ultimately that was the purpose of John's mission, was to lead people to Christ and to testify as to who Jesus is. But today we're going to pick up our study in John chapter 5 and verse 36. And here it reads, "But the testimony which I have is greater than the testimony of John, for the works which the Father has given me to accomplish, the very works that I do, testify about me, that the Father has sent me." The works that he's talking about here are the miracles that he was performing. And the purpose of these miracles was to produce faith. Near the end of his gospel, John wrote, "Therefore many other signs Jesus also performed in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book. But these have been written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that believing you may have life in his name." John 20, verses 30 through 31. When the Jewish leaders challenged Jesus to tell them plainly if he was the Christ, he pointed them to the works that he had done in John 10, verses 24 and 25, which would include the miracles that he had performed to prove that he really is the Christ. The Gospel of John records several miracles that reveal certain things about Jesus. We start out in John 2 and verses 1 through 11, where Jesus turned the water into wine. In having the servants fill the pots to the brim, he demonstrated that this was a genuine miracle and not some type of trick or illusion. In John 4, verses 46 through 54, we see Jesus healing the son of a nobleman. And this miracle showed that he had the power to heal a specific person over a long distance. Jesus did not have to be there at the bedside of this man. He was able to simply heal this person with his words, even at a great distance. In John 5, verses 1 through 9, we find Jesus healing a lame man. The account compared the work attributed to an angel to the better work of Christ. In John 6, verses 1 through 14, we find the miracle of Jesus feeding the 5,000. He created food for them, providing something that was superior to the manna that was provided to their forefathers in the wilderness. In John 6, verses 15 through 21, we find Jesus walking on the water. He was able to set aside the natural laws of gravity because he was superior, because he has all authority in heaven and on earth. In John 9 and verses 1 through 7, Jesus healed a blind man, and this individual was one who had been blind from birth, so this was not a temporary condition. Yet this did not hinder Jesus from being able to grant him the gift of his sight. And then in John 11, verses 1 through 44, we find Jesus raising his friend Lazarus from the dead. Rather than hurrying to him when he was informed that he was sick, Jesus waited until Lazarus had passed away. When he finally arrived at the tomb of Lazarus, the body would have already begun to decay. Yet Jesus was still able to raise him up from the dead. As John explained very clearly, these signs were there to prove that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, John 20 and verse 31. If this were not true, then he would not have been able to perform these miracles. And so we see that these works that Jesus performed are a testimony to his position as the Christ, the Son of God. Friends, we thank you for joining us for our program today, and have a blessed day.